Today's episode is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic are the perfect addition to your everyday routine. Go to buyraycon.com/SuperCarlin to get 15% off. Is the Room of Requirement destroyed after the Battle of Hogwarts? Hey, brother! The epic finale and battle in the Harry Potter saga takes us to many iconic Hogwarts locales. We see the Ravenclaw Common Room for the first time ever, the Great Hall, Shrieking Shack, or Boat House if you're watching the films, the Chamber of Secrets, and of course, the Room of Requirement. Now, while the entire castle takes massive damage throughout the battle, if the Wizarding World has taught us anything about damage, it's that things can be put back together in a rather shockingly easy fashion.
Oculus Reparo.
It's an unusual beauty to magic. Destruction feels significant, and at the Battle of Hogwarts, it is significant because Hogwarts is otherwise protected by just so much ancient magic that repairs probably aren't frequently required because they aren't incurred in the first place. Unless, of course, it's the Triwizard Tournament, in which case a dragon might just, hit stuff, all willy-nillykins. Silly dragon.
Well done, dragon!
But the premise here is simple. Voldemort not only chose his Horcruxes very specifically, but also their locations for their concealment. Everything matters. It's all significant and represent either personal places of importance, or, in his mind, the pillars of the wizarding world. So, running down the list, we've got the Gaunt House, the cave he discovered as a boy, tormenting classmates, Gringotts, and Hogwarts, the first and only place that both Harry and Tom Riddle ever properly considered home.
Hogwarts is my home.
School's your home? Nerd! It's okay, we're all nerds. But the Room of Requirement plays a really important role as things, wait for it, heat up. You get it? Because of the Fiendfyre? The Fiendfyre is both impressive and disappointing. On the one hand, it's a really cool piece of magic that we get to witness and is unbelievably powerful. So powerful, in fact, that it's capable of destroying the Diadem Horcrux hidden within the room. The disappointing part is that Vincent Crabbe gets the accolade of having destroyed a Horcrux. That means, get this, he is in company with Dumbledore, Harry, Ron, Hermione, Neville, and Voldemort, who destroys the Horcrux in Harry in the Forest. Also, I was counting on my fingers there. I don't think I got it right. But of the entity that is Crabbe and Goyle, I have to admit that I'm a bit of a Goyle stan. So if it had to be either, couldn't it have at least been I was gonna say smart, but that's not it. Couldn't it have at least been Goyle?
I didn't know you could read.
Anyway, it's not, and I'll just never get over it. And honestly, it should have been Draco in the first place, if anyone, and been part of his redemption. But does anyone listen to me? I mean, you guys do, so thank you for that. Whew. Regardless, the question we attempt to answer today, if the Fiendfyre is powerful enough to destroy a Horcrux, was it powerful enough to destroy the Room of Requirement itself? Today, we discuss.
Hey, brother!
Okay, so first things first, this question is actually brought up by Ron himself inside the story, who says, "Where's Ginny?" he said sharply. "She was here. She was supposed to be going back to the Room of Requirement." "Blimey. Do you reckon it'll still work after that fire?" So to start, let's get a small overview on Fiendfyre. It can feel like a Deus Ex Machina when it shows up, again in part due to the fact that Crabbe is capable of doing it, and it's a spell capable of destroying a Horcrux, which feels hyper-limited when the other method of destruction is largely basilisk venom. An incredibly rare, super venomous, poisonous snake that can kill you by staring at it and has one of the most potent venoms of all time. And Crabbe.
How thick could you get?
But is this all part of some bizarre and, in my opinion, unnecessary magical glow-up in favor of the old Crabbe-tacular and Gargoyle? They're slinging unforgivables, and then we also get this. "We can do disillusion charms now, and then you turned up right in front of us and said you was looking for a diadem." What's a diadem? Can't actually say disillusionment, but can perform the spell. Sure, yeah, cool.
Stop. You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong.
But I guess this is the rapid-fire credit building that makes their ability to cast the Fiendfyre seem vaguely more plausible. But then on top of that, it feels like this is the kind of thing that Hermione might have found during her research. And surprising that she's never brought it up before now, but even that does have a reason. Fiendfyre, cursed fire. It's one of the substances that destroy Horcruxes, but I would never ever have dared to use it. It's so dangerous. How did Crabbe know how to? Must have learned from the Carrows, said Harry grimly. Actually, this hails back to a pretty great line from McGonagall in literally the first chapter of the series when she points out to Dumbledore, Voldemort had powers I will never have. Only because you're too, well, noble to use them. Aw, am I blushing? Like I'm blushing. Dumbledore impersonation. So in a nutshell, that's why we haven't seen or used the spell until now. It's basically unstoppable, extremely dangerous, and frankly our heroes are also too noble to perform such a spell in the first place. So take that! Crabbe. Also, I know in the films it's Goyle, but that was because the guy who played Crabbe had to step away from the films for other reasons. Also, just while we're on the subject, this is another weird fact about Crabbe and Goyle, because aside from when Harry and Ron polyjuice into them, they have no actual speaking lines throughout the series until Deathly Hallows. Just a lot of grunting noises. Ugh.
I didn't know you could talk to me.
Yo, we got to give brief pause right there to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Okay, tell me it's not just me. I know that seasonal depression usually strikes during the earlier, colder months of the year. Holidays have worn off. Now it's just dark, gray, and cold. Easy to get down. But May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I have to be honest, I kinda get it. I underestimate it, but this time of year hits me hard, and on more than one occasion, it's May that causes me to revisit my own therapy journey. And if I've learned anything during my own sessions, it's that I'm extremely grateful for that little white noise machine that they put outside the door so nobody can hear what I'm saying. Except obviously for the therapist, I need them to hear what I say. But it's also that therapy isn't only helpful during major traumatic moments. If anything, I think we can really underestimate the weight that we carry simply from everyday life. And more importantly, you don't have to try and handle all of that by yourself. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, anxious, or unsure, it could be a great time to consider therapy. And BetterHelp provides a short survey to best understand what you're going through and can match you with a licensed therapist. You don't have to be on this journey alone. Find support and have someone with you in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/super. That's betterhelp.com/super. Link in the description down below. Now back to the video. I'm off topic. Back to the room requirement and whether or not it survived its encounter with an absolute flood of Fiendfyre. First of all, there are so many ways to look at this and try and figure out what happened. Can the room be destroyed at all, or can its functionality? I would say it feels feasible. I mean, the room almost certainly has a sentience about it since it can respond to the user's needs, which is not that unusual in the castle. Think of the staircases, trick doors, headmaster's office, and the sorting hat.
Be in your bonnet, Potter.
And along the same lines, though the Horcruxes themselves seem to have quite a bit more sentience than other objects, and for them, if you sufficiently damage the container, the soul can no longer survive inside and will perish. And one of the ways to do that is via Fiendfyre. And since the whole room is exposed to an inferno level of raptors and other actively combusting beasts, it seems pretty plausible that whatever magic is the source of its sentience was destroyed, though I doubt it was someone's soul like a Horcrux. You could also kind of compare this to the backfiring of Avada Kedavra curse, destroying the Fidelius charm around the Potter's house. But on that note, you could label the container of the room as the castle itself as a whole, which, to be fair, does take quite a bit of damage during the Battle of Hogwarts, but also is still fully operational afterwards. So in that case, no, it wouldn't be destroyed, just perhaps taking some time to heal, which is more than I can say for the contents of the Room of Hidden Things, a room full of mysteries unto itself. For example, Harry, Ron, and Hermione seem perplexed that Voldemort could have failed to realize hundreds, if not thousands, of students had found the room before him, given its overflowing status of discarded things. But I think they are wrong here, because why would so many people need to hide so many broken things and also succeed in finding this hidden place? If you ask me, the room is the castle's dumping ground where either the house elves, who do know about the room,
Of course, I'm an elf.
or perhaps just the castle itself discards useless and broken things inside of there. And a clue for this may actually come from McGonagall again. When she enters the Ravenclaw common room, it asks her the riddle, "Where do vanished objects go?" And she responds, "Into non-being," which is to say, everything. Which sounds great and also super cryptic, but they have to go somewhere. And I think at least at Hogwarts, that's what the room is, an almost pocket dimension of ever-expanding storage for the castle's discarded and vanished things. I mean, it's not like they have garbage trucks or something. You say it goes into everything, McGonagall. Well, look around. Here's everything. Actually, as long as we're on this note, though, we have a quick little small theory to present you as well about the room of requirement. When Harry goes in to hide his copy of Advanced Potion Making, he sees a unique collection of objects. Here were what looked like dragon eggshells, corked bottles whose contents still shimmered evilly, several rusting swords, and a heavy, bloodstained axe. That last one stands out to me. Like, could it possibly be Nearly Headless Nick was beheaded at Hogwarts and the blunt axe was disposed of after the failed beheading, and that's why Nick, like, haunts the school specifically, the place of his own death? Alternatively, when Hermione is researching RAB, she also stumbles across Rupert Axebanger Brookstanton. So maybe old Axebanger himself was somehow involved. Let me know what you think in the towel section down below. Bonus thought, it's not actually blood at all, it's just pumpkin from where McNair was all like, Shwapapa! Micro theories aside, what I'm really trying to get at is that even if the room is not destroyed, I do believe that all the stuff in it is destroyed. In fact, I dare say anything the room could be hiding at all for any version of itself was also destroyed. Because consider this, Fiendfyre, the spell, is also sentient. And if it is in the room and has a need, the room should provide for it, right? And its only need would be more fuel, which of course the room has tons of until it doesn't, until it literally burns through 1,000 years worth of accumulation. So just for further clarity, the idea is that the room cannot make objects or magically generate things for its user. It can only provide what it requests from its own inventory, which, to be clear, is also extremely vast. And if that's the case, and if the room provides its users with objects through its ever-expanding inventory, then maybe what the Fiendfyre did was summon all objects from every interaction of the room until it was all gone, and therefore effectively reset the room. Like, it's not that it doesn't work, it just no longer has any materials to work with. At least, not yet. But I have a feeling that once the 1,000-year fire burns out, the Battle of Hogwarts will yield all sorts of new rubble and stuff for it to reconstruct into whatever the students need. Kind of like a matter cannot be created or destroyed subtext, even when magic's involved. So, in short, the room is not destroyed. Everything in it is, and therefore its functionality is limited until it isn't. Actually, with this fresh perspective in mind, it may also be the real reason why the room cannot provide food, which otherwise we get a pretty brief guess at from Ron. I've been in here about a day and a half and getting really hungry and wishing I could get something to eat, and that's when the passage to Hogshead opened up. I went through it and met Aberforth. He's been providing us with food because, for some reason, that's the one thing the room really doesn't do. Yeah, well, food's one of the 5 exemptions to Gamp's Law of Elemental Transfiguration, said Ron, to general astonishment. General astonishment? This is kind of like a redemption moment for Ron at the time after complaining about being hungry while the trio was camping. But surely plenty of leftover food is banished after meals every day. So possibly if you're requesting food to eat, it can't provide you with what is likely now fully spoiled food. Fortunately, Crabbe's newly invented, incinerator doesn't mind a little mold, and it's all just likely burnt to a crisp. As is Crabbe. Rest in pyrotechnics? Anyone else craving Red Lobster all of a sudden? Guys, thank you so much as always for tuning into this week's episode. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future Harry Potter action from us. If you'd like to see what we believe are the other chambers created by the other founders other than Slytherin, you can check out this video right over here. But otherwise, until next time, don't forget, ducks go in cups.